Downpour here this afternoon at the Derby as Jani Myburgh brings in Toyota Detente, next to jump and number 7 on the program of 23 competitors. Out of those 23, Jani Myburgh has 2 rides. This is the first, and we've had some cricket scores literally at the Derby so far. The Saint from Natal, 24 penalties. Magician, 33 and a quarter. Sanchez Patio, 18 and a quarter. Schweppes Desert King, 16, and a retirement from Jungle View. Coming into the course at number 7, Jani Myburgh and Detente. This is the big one. This is the big course that's only jumped once a year. It's 1,000 kilometers, 1,000 meters long, and it has to be jumped within 155 seconds. Jani Myburgh coming up the hill to number 2, and 4 faults, a disheartening 4 faults early in this course of 17 jumps, which call for 22 efforts coming down the hill, where we've already had quite a good deal of trouble. And 4 faults it is as she goes right-handed to the giant staircase, which is right alongside the big Derby bank, which we'll see later as number 9. Up she goes, and clear she is. Left-handed now to 5, the blue and white panels. 4 faults, and another 4 is 8. As she goes down to number 6, the double oxer with the white poles at 8 faults, and left-handed through the trees, through the orchard here at Ananda Club, to bring him back to the table jump. Up onto the table, out over it, and no problem, coming to 8, with 8 penalties at this stage, over the St Andrew's Cross, and riding very confidently as she brings him, somewhat reluctantly, back to the top of the bank, and pushes him down, and down he goes. Now he's got to sort himself out, and there's a good deal of sway, but the panels are still there, so it's still 8 faults for Jani Myburgh, coming to the big, broad, white number 11, which she wraps, but it's still 8 faults. And ahead of her, the Devil's Dyke. Again, wrapping the poles, but they're staying put for Jani Myburgh as she takes him left-handed now. Out of the Devil's Dyke, still 8 faults to the little narrow style, one of the most unpopular jumps on the course by the riders, and it was a pole down there. 12 she has as she brings him with a big wide grey wall. 12 faults. Right-handed, and there's only 3 jumps left for her now on this 1,000-meter course, and here's the water jump, which she springs across with the minimum of problem. 12 faults, and the double of gates at the end of this long course. Horse and rider pretty fagged by this time in the warm sunshine. She takes him out over the rustic with just 1.5 seconds within the time allowed, which is in fact 155 seconds, so it's 12 to Toyota Detente. And at this stage, with 7 competitors through, our best score at this stage is Sulo from Natal and Pre-Center with only 6 penalties. And 12 penalties it was for Jani Myburgh as she takes Detente out of the arena. And it's Jani Myburgh now on her second horse, Toyota Dress Suit, at number 13. And this is the combination that won the 1981 Derby. So here's an experienced Derby rider on a horse that has won in previous years with the best score so far on the card at 6 penalties. And on Saturday, this combination tied second with a lot of other competitors in the 1983 Transvaal Show Jumping Championship held at the Derby ground on Saturday afternoon. Jani Myburgh coming down to 3. Pretty unhappy on the top pole, but it stayed put, so no faults as she goes right-handed. And the top of the staircase, 4 faults. the 4 faults for a previous Derby winner, and another 4 down the hurdles. 8 it is, coming to Ferreira's Oxer, which with a flick of the tail. Rescue takes very well, but 8 faults it is. And Derby hopes for 1983 dwindling with Springbok Jani Myburgh as she comes out over the table. And here's the bank. That's all right. Now the panel. That's all right. That's where experience counts. Horse and rider. But still 8 penalties. Going for the big wide one. 8 so far. And bringing him down fairly quietly now. Rescued for the Devil's Strike. Came in well. Coming out well. Yes. Good riding there. But another one of the narrow. That's Richard number 13. Unlucky here this afternoon for quite a few. 12 she has. Out over the grey wall with no problem. With the exception of last year when the rains came down as the last horse came through and 5 horses were tied. For winner, she's clear of the water. 12 faults she has. Captain Coldry, the course designers, managed only 1 clear for several years before 82, and everyone's agog to know if he can do it again as Jani Myburgh comes out of the course with 12 penalties and time well in hand. Rescue Jani Myburgh on 12th. Well, she's had 2 rides here this afternoon, as have these 10 top riders. Only 4 of them have managed to clear at this stage. And now George coming to 4 where Harvey had his fault, but not George, clear at this stage. Left-handed. Moving round the course smoothly. Slanting poles on the far side. George Myburgh, one of the senior citizens of South African show jumping, with about as much experience in this country as Harvey Smith has in Europe, and of course George has ridden in his time in Europe. Coming to a spread. George Myburgh, Springbok, clear to 9. If he can manage a clear, he'll stand then on the 4 penalties from the first round as he goes through the treble. And the last pole there. 4 he has as he goes for the last, and the last pole rocks, but it stays put. 4 he has, a total of 8. So between George Myburgh, 2 rounds, and Harvey Smith, a quarter of a penalty separates those 2. And our next competitor will be Gail Foxcroft from the Transvaal and Harry's Game. And Gail had 4 penalties in the first round, and she has the caliber, the experience, and the form from the previous 2 days to pull a clear round out of the fire here. And if she can, which will mean 4 penalties and a clear of Judy Steckelman. So here we go for Jani Myburgh and Detente. Jani Myburgh, who's to say how she can react to pressure here this afternoon at 5 minutes to 4 in the Cape. And if her mind is filled with 9 the blue and white and 10 the treble combination, then she mustn't be careless in the jumps that come before. 3 is right. The double. Bit of a rattle, but it's still in place. 4 down, 7 to come, 5 is coming up. The rustics, right. Slanting poles, no trouble there. Left-handed. 7 is right. Going past number 5, taking the right-hand turn, plenty of space for a big spread that hasn't given too much problem. And here's our friend. and she's right. Left-handed. Opportunity for a double clear. Could be a win for Myburgh. Could be a jump-off between Western Province and Transvaal. And she has a one down in the treble, and she's wrong for 11, but she's got him right. So it's another four-faulter. And blow me down, but Western Province has it in her hand, in Judy Stegeman's hand, to win the Grand Prix in her next round this afternoon. So Jani Myburgh, 4 penalties in the treble combination and just one competitor to come. Right, so there are no less than 4 competitors tied at this stage on 4 penalties, and there is one competitor to come. It's Judy Stegeman on Autumn Harvest Kingdom, clear in the first round. If she manages a clear, then she wins the Grand Prix, for which there is 3,500 rand on offer.
Jani, just what went wrong here?
This was my problem coming home. He's a very long striding, big jumping horse, and he gets very excited coming towards home. And coming out was a little bit short for him, and all I did was sit still, but I didn't sit quite still enough.
And Jani, if Judy goes clear, she wins. Otherwise, it could be an interesting jump-off with you involved, right?
Right.
So the tension is on. Do you think Judy can make it? I mean, can you be objective about it?
I hope for her sake, because I always like somebody really sort of up and coming, which Judy in this horse is, to win a big class. But I think she has a lot of pressure on her, the same as I had, because they're not the most, one mistake and it's gone.
All right, Jani. Good luck for the jump-off, and perhaps we'll both root for Judy. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we saw there that Jani Myburgh took that pearl on the way up, coming into the third element of the treble. So everything hangs now on Judy Stegeman and Autumn Harvest Kingdom. Go clear, and she wins the Cape Grand Prix. If she has 4 faults, we have no less than 5 competitors to jump off, and if she does worse, she's not in a jump-off. Plenty of pressure. Half a second faster than Barry Taylor. So the chances are that while Jani might beat Barry Taylor's time, I wonder. Jani Myburgh, the last to go in the Grand Prix jump-off here. The time to beat, 29.4 seconds, clear from Barry Taylor and Power Force. Jumps 1, 7, and then round to the end. And though Lachlan McLaughlin's time was half a second faster than Barry Taylor, he had 1 pole down in the treble combination. And this is Jani Myburgh's moment of truth, to go clear, and to go clear very fast. The horse, Détente. Quick right-hand turn. Very gently to 7th. And a stop. And so the competition is decided. Jani has had a stop in trying to be a little too clever in her approach to jump number 7. And that's 3 penalties with the seconds ticking past. So a little bit of an anticlimax here to the jump-off, as our last competitor has a stop at the second fence on the shortened course. She's clear at 9, left-handed now to the treble combination. She's not riding for speed because there is little real demand for it, and she takes him out of the course really rather gently and rather sadly with 3 penalties.
Not the largest of ladies at the best of time, looking so tiny on top of the big Détente, but totally in control. Approaching the parallels. Oh, a superb looking animal. What can you say about Jani that hasn't been said before? Been competing for a few years now, and still riding to the very best on this very, very talented Détente. And the sort of course that could just suit this big fella. Leading the competition at this stage is Peter Gotts, Toyota Gossiper, with just 4 penalties. And that 12 of Gonders must put into second place. Errol with 20 penalties, lying about third. Jani last won this big derby back in 1981, I think. Toyota dress suit. Jani waking him up there. No time to go to sleep. We've got a long way to go yet. She hopes. Jani's legs are going. She's driving onto the sunset. Please come down. Total exhaustion. Look at the look of exasperation on the face, but he's going to come. Is he going to come? Please come, she says. Jani is exhausted trying to get the big fellow down there. She won't hit him. She's now giving him a little slap. She says, please come. The crowd are urging him forward. Jani is so exhausted. Well, if you ever saw a picture of total exhaustion, what great pity there for such a great little sports lady. So said, okay, I'll take you down there. You can have a look at it from this side. See, it's not so bad. Do you want to go up it? So, a lovely gesture there from Jani. But unfortunately, he says, okay, I do understand. It's rather awful.
Jonathan Clark, to land on Juno.
Out she trots.
From the South African Defence Force Equestrian Centre in Potchefstroom. To land bred in Southwest Africa.
Oh. George Myburgh on Cloud Star. George, no stranger to these derby tracks. The toughest of competitors on his way. George has all the experience in the world. Can he guard Cloud Star around this long track? Urges him through that one. Take the long way round to set up for the steps. Don't forget, the first part is compulsory. Once they jump there, they have to jump that other one, and he does beautifully. Clear through. The balustrades. To the big parallel. George asks for extra effort, gets him. Now he has to pull back and settle them. George taking a little breather there. It's going to cost him dearly for time, I'm sure. In and out there. Big cross poles. Now, approach to there. Having watched Jani get stuck on the top, George wasn't going to allow it, but he's up. I'm sure that's not going to deter him. Unfortunately, he does have to jump out of here now. Fixing the glasses. He does have a strap on the back to keep the glasses in place. So, Now, from somewhere, he's got to find enough impulsion to pop over these poles. And he asks him for one. And certainly, when it comes to guts, there's none tougher than George Myburgh. Now, approaching the dike. No room for a breather. He's got to be so accurate. Takes the first part out. Takes him round the long way round, gives him a chance to settle, to approach the water, which he has to drive for Bruce Dewar of Horseman's Haven, Okinawa. Now, the great George Myburgh, Springbok George Myburgh on Cloud Star. What a tough combination to beat. These two are on their day. See some powerful riding. You'll watch George literally lifting this horse over. Outstar has this knack of breathing incredibly heavily. You'll probably hear him snorting when he comes through. Oh, gave it a tap. Gives that a hefty rap and it comes down, but it's still there. But he gets it. He took a little bit of a liberty there. Now to the uprights on the way up the hill. He's immaculate. And he's clear so far, coming into this big treble. Can he get this right? We're wishing him. Come on, George. Oh no, it all went wrong there. Holes going in all directions. And bad luck again. So, Cloudstar and George Myburgh. Looks like 8 penalties. Here he is, driving into the wall. He tries to. Yes, the brick falls out of the first element there. You can just see that. Manages to get over the second, but literally slips into the third. There goes a pole.